Drum roll for me. Welcome back to another episode. Why is the sunshine blinding the crap out of me today? Isn't it funny? It's like when it's not sunny, we're mad. We're like, oh, seasonal depression. And then when it's sunny, we're like, I'm blind. Why are you doing this to me? Nothing is ever good enough for us. I think the older you get, the more you realize that nothing's ever good for you. And it's just like enough is never enough. And maybe that's what life is about, champ. Maybe that's why you're always so damn hard on yourself, because you're just always resetting the bar. You're just always resetting the bar to that next thing. That's why you're never satisfied. That's a winner's mentality. I'm a winner. I like winning. I like being on the winner's team. So you got my vote of confidence. Oh, yeah. And you know what Uncle Joe from Medea's Homecoming says? In the morning, if the sun don't rise, you are dead. All right, that was all I got. That's all I got now. Let's get into it. How are you doing after the crazy week we have all had? It's been kind of upsetting. It's been rewarding. It's been confusing. I'm usually in the confused space. I like being confused. I think it's just like all over my face. But people don't realize this. I'm mostly an observer. I love observing. And I think sometimes it comes across as if maybe I'm lost. It's just I'm more focused on what's going on around me rather than, being a contestant in the game. I like to think of myself as an observer of the game. I like watching what's going on. It's been pretty wild what's going on politically. Trump's in office. We get it. Everybody has said their piece. You better believe I'm going to say my piece. I get a piece of this pie, right? I deserve a piece of this pie, especially if it was like grandma's apple pie. I want a piece of the apple pie, a little whipped cream. I'm not going to make no gripes about somebody's opinion, because that's the beautiful thing about this world. Everybody is entitled to an opinion. It's pretty amazing, actually. It's like opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. Everyone does. And if you're lucky, you might agree with some people. Again, if you're lucky, it doesn't always happen like that, but if you're lucky enough, you might actually see eye to eye and be aligned with people that, if you're open-minded enough. And sometimes being aligned with people is not seeing eye to eye. I've had plenty of conversations. I can't say arguments because I don't really care enough to turn a mountain out of a molehill, but I've had plenty of conversations with people where I've walked away disagreeing and later found that, okay, maybe there's something here. And, politics is just one of those things. Politics and religion are two things you should never talk about at the dinner table. And as soon as I see people going that way, I'm like, you're going on that road by yourself, pal, because I enjoy being happy. And happy means not arguing with you. Because that's just not my style, Like, I don't want to do that. Everybody's made so many reasons and so many excuses and so many promises as to why something is the way that it is. We're just all looking for a reason to put that stamp, label it. I feel like I was born in the wrong generation sometimes. Like 100 years ago, I could have lived with not dealing with all of the everything is so this. It's just like that extreme. It's so extreme to pick one thing or the other that you can't really have, nothing's open to interpretation. Nothing is subjective anymore. It's like, just like that. That's a good sound. I'm going to have to turn that into a sound. Can we turn that into a sound? I like that sound. We're going into an even crazier week, and I love using the podcast as a time to kind of decompress. Let's talk about it. Let's figure it out. Let's go to places together. Why worry about what's done is done? I always think about these things after the moment's passed. And this week I found myself in some incredibly rare opportunities. Personally, professionally, collaboratively. I've been in so many rooms with so many amazing people this week and should be so grateful. And from the bottom of my heart, I truly am. But there's still been that part of me that has walked out of those same rooms or walked away from those opportunities and thought, what did I miss? Did I miss something? Walked away thinking maybe I left some meat on the bone. Did I? Or did everything happen exactly how it was supposed to? And I think that's something you have to consider when you look back and reflect on anything. If you feel like you missed something, and if you're anything like me, FOMO is always knocking at the door. I can't help it, man. I want to be part of the fun. What the fuck, you know? I'm a human. You don't want to be part of the fun? Good for you, okay? But I do. I get FOMO. I see things are going on. I want to be a part of it. I don't want to be like, oh, yeah, I'm too good for you, so whatever. No, I'm not too good for you. I want to go to your party. Invite me. I like friends. I'm just not good at making them. I'm awkward. I can't help it. It's just who I am. I try to get it across to people. They're like, you're not awkward. You're so communicative. You're so talkative. You're so likable. You're so this. You're so that. I'm like, do you know what I live with in my head? Do you know what I go through? Do you know that I am always thinking about what has already passed, the moment that's gone, the opportunity that has left, the ship that has sailed? You can't spend your entire life thinking about the things that are already done. We live so much of our lives in the past. Hey, there's a time for nostalgia, right? There's a time to, play that old sad song. Lately, I've been playing a lot of music from back in the day. I'm like, I want to hear Red Hot Chili Peppers, I want to hear some Blink-182, Bowling for Soup, I want to hear some of this stuff. I want to go back. Stacy's mom has been heavy on my mind. Not because of her, but, I think of that little kid mowing the lawn. It just happens so fast. And you ought to be careful not to spend so much of your life looking backwards. Really. I saw myself doing a lot of that this week. I was like, yo, what the hell's going on? And I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, is this just me? Is there something like fucking wrong with me? I thought of where I was, as far as my age. I thought, okay, maybe I'm just getting older. It's just how I see things. I thought, okay, maybe it's just, I'm trying to purge something, perhaps. It didn't help that last week I was thinking about aliens, and I never think about aliens. I'm just like, oh, whatever, I'm doing my thing. But you get into those phases where you really do have to feel your feelings. And people think it's so corny, and people think it's so fucked up, and people are like, it's so over dramatized, and it's so much for commerce anymore. Even shit like this, it's all for commerce. People do it because they think they're gonna get a buck, they're gonna get a like, they're gonna get a fucking whatever. I do it because I'm crazy, and I enjoy talking about it because I think people find a lot of solace in knowing that they're not the only ones experiencing worry and doubt and confusion and feeling challenged with that next thing that they're trying to do by, always resetting that bar. That's the winner's mentality, and it's a very lonely road sometimes. It really is. It really is. But I'm learning to embrace who I am. And I think that's the caveat to it all. And I share it with you because I think there's always going to be that caveat. And you have to dig for that. You have to look for it because I'm not always living in the past. I'm a very forward thinker, right? You look at what's going on in the world, and the world's moving forward, whether you like to believe it or not. And I got one big truth for you that you have to accept. You can either get on or get left behind. You can either get on the train that's leaving the station or get left behind. It doesn't matter what age you are. It's probably the realest thing you'll ever hear because we are so wrapped up in ourselves anymore. It drives me crazy. People are so wrapped up in themselves, their insecurities, their what ifs. And I get it because I am too, but not so much that I miss the big picture, that I miss the world around me. I'm willing to abandon the things I believe that are not, benefiting me anymore. You can't hold on to things that are no longer working just because they always did work. I think for me it was troubling because growing up I never had the best father figures, and I had to kind of learn my way. And I wasn't as confident as I could have been because I just didn't know that confidence existed. So I lived a lot of my younger years in a basically a fishbowl, thinking what I had was all that there was. And it's just not true. The second you get out of that fishbowl, you start looking around, the world looks way different. And I started to learn, wow, I am the professional in this. I started to learn that people do rely on me to say this. I started to learn that it's really not that complicated. And the more that you talk about it, the more that you put it out there, the more that you see that it's totally normal. I think we see it the most when we're trying to grow. We're so tied up with, well, it's always been this way. It's always been like this. Why change it? That's the problem. Can't you see? That's the problem. You can't hold on to things that are no longer benefiting you. So take your time this week to reflect, but be willing to let go of shit. Be willing to let go because I know it's hard. I know. And it's annoying because it's unknown and you don't know what's in the unknown. All you do know is that it's scary and you don't want to go there and you're going to avoid it as much as you can. And I tell you from where I'm sitting, from my mouth to your ear, I agree. I would love to stay where I've always been. I loved nothing more than spending my days smoking pot, watching TV, writing, minding my own business, going to the bars at night, hanging out with my stupid idiot friends, blowing every extra dollar I had to my name. I loved every minute of it. 10 out of 10. Would do it again and again and again. But I respect myself enough these days to know that I need to have some discipline. And I have to be willing to stop doing those things. And ever since I stopped all those things that I felt were holding me back, I feel like I'm able to finally really reset the bar and really step forward into the life that I want to have. And maybe it's not the life I've always had, but that's the glory of it all, stepping into that new thing. I'm excited for the week ahead. I think it's exciting. I have this profound belief that the future is something to look forward to. And studies show that people would actually disagree quite a bit. People are actually scared of the future. And I think there's a lot of things that are scary, especially as you get older, because as we get older, we squeeze tighter onto what we believe and what we think. And we're not willing to let go a little bit and just go with the muse. Just go with the flow. Just let things happen naturally. We squeeze tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. We go into our weeks thinking we are going to see everything we expect to see. All we're doing is filling in the blanks. We're not even living anymore. We're just going through the motions, and I hate that, and I don't want that to happen for you. I think if you are willing to really look outside the box, you have the opportunity to enjoy something that a lot of people don't. And there's a good possibility, too, that you're going to be outcasted. Not too many people think like me. And that is probably the most uncomfortable thing for me because we want to fit in with people. We want to have community. We want to be able to surround ourselves with people that really give a shit and people that are willing to go that extra mile and care. I always think of who are you when the doors are closed, when no one's looking. Who is that person? And I think when you have a high sense of integrity, you know, there's conviction in the things that you do. And when you lack integrity, everything becomes very wishy-washy. And I find that, no, I'm not kidding, 90% of the people I encounter are in that wishy-washy category. And it makes me uncomfortable. And I've actually dumbed myself down to fit in with those people just so I could survive. No more. Not this week and not going forward. You're looking at a new me. Every day is a new day to change, to try to start over for you, for me, for anybody. You don't need something drastic to happen. Everybody waits for the world to come to an end to actually turn the page. The sunshine, it's out. The dogs are breathing. I'm having a good time. You're having a good time. By the time you see this episode, you're probably going to be getting ready for the Super Bowl, or the Super Bowl's already passed. Which is something to look forward to, baby. Eagles in Kansas City. Let's fucking go. I don't even watch football. So gay. I don't even watch football. Why am I excited? One of my friends asked me the other day, said, who do you got, Ant? Who do I got? I was like, I don't know, man. Probably Eagles, whatever. Who are they playing? Kansas City? Yeah, I don't know. Eagles, I guess. I love football. I love nothing more than playing football. I remember younger me would love playing some touch football. And when I mean touch, I mean get the fuck out the way, baby. Oof, oof, oof. Daddy's coming through. Daddy's coming through. Now, I'd probably break my neck if I did that shit, but I love football. But I did stop watching football years ago. My team was actually the Broncos. Yeah. As soon as Tim Tebow started playing baseball, I was like, fuck it. I can't be a part of this anymore. I don't believe in this franchise. Tim Tebow's fucking playing baseball. What are we doing? I can't support this movement. Tim Tebow is playing baseball, and we're looking at football. But, hey, I'm excited for the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is exciting because I remember growing up, we never really always got to watch the game. But, man, getting everybody in the same room and having that camaraderie and the culture of people being together is really a special thing. I love that because for me, I get to be a part of it, A, and B, I love seeing how people are when they're around people they fucking love. I love that. That is what I love. I love seeing people that are surrounded by their favorite fucking people and they're not uncomfortable. They're not thinking twice. There's no doubt about it. They are acting exactly how they would in their most comfortable state of mind. I love that. That makes me happy. That's like my currency, seeing people happy. I don't know what it is. I'm a freak show, man. I got it from my papa. My dad cared a lot. My mom cared a lot too. And they were very, how do you say? They're very spiritual type people, you know, like not religious, but spiritual, you know, pursue your dreams, shake a man's hand, make sure it's a firm grip. Understand there's always going to be someone bigger and better than you. There's always going to be someone bigger, better than you. I always loved watching my dad say that to my punk brother. It was kind of like watching my brother get leveled. I'm like, daddy's giving it to you now, bitch. How's it feel? I'm in the driver's seat. You're going to get your ass kicked. And it was nice growing up with those kinds of traditions and values. And I use a lot of that today in my everyday life. Every time I shake someone's hand, I'm like, firmly grasp it. Firmly grasp it. And I do. And I always understand that there's somebody more intelligent and more stronger and better. And that's okay. That's okay. Not everything is about an ego trip. Sometimes you miss the real experience because you're too fucking wrapped up in yourself. And that's where I think a lot of us are in this world now, where everything makes us think back to us. Instead of pointing that outward like we did when we were kids, where we externalized everything. We just went and did it. The older you get, the more inward we start to pull, and you start to miss the big picture. Being happy with the people you love instead of worrying about shit that's out of your control. Cracking jokes with your best friends when that's all that matters. Shit. Watching Jesse kick the ceiling fan back in high school during the Super Bowl game, that was really an experience. Had nothing to do with the game. But man, to see Jesse get to the ceiling fan with his foot, really crazy. Something to see. It's great too because the Eagles are playing, which means no matter if they win or lose, they're still going to be climbing up poles and roasting pigs on the trains. I got no gripes about it. I was thinking I could probably pick up a hot meal if I went on over to Philly sometime next week. I'm excited. They'll probably be partying that long. Oh, wait, what's today? What the fuck is today? Wait. I think the game's next week, right? It's the 1st of February. Who knows? Whatever. They're going to be having fun in Philly. I don't care. I don't watch football, but I'm going to probably be crashing somebody's Super Bowl party, so keep an eye on me. You don't know where I'll be that week. Could be anywhere. It could be here. It could be there. It could be everywhere. It's an exciting time. And then we have Valentine's Day the following week, I believe. Even more exciting. Nothing to really look forward to there, but hey, whatever. I think it's too bad, though. You know, what just took place in Philly. They just had that plane crash. Yeah. They had that crash in Washington, too. But there's been some bad things that are going on in the world. And I hope you know that if you feel like being in fear or scared of those things, I hope you know that these things have always been happening. It's not new, right? It's relative to you because it's now and it's here. And make sure you understand these things, but take things with a grain of salt because we are misinformed and we misinterpret basically everything because we're just so goddamn wrapped up in ourselves. Really, we get in our own way more than we can fucking tell. Really, we're on basic autopilot. We are. I can't even wrap my head around it sometimes. I was talking to Jesse about it last night. I was like, dude, what the hell's wrong with us? We had 2 hours on the phone. Guys like to gossip. I'm a drama queen, man. Give me the tea. I like tea. 64 perished in that DC plane crash on American Airlines. And that's really too bad. It makes me scared to fly, to be honest. Think of that. All those lives dead. Gone. Gone. Forever. And the only thing I could think of is I'm never going to fly again because I'm terrified now. If my plane went down, I wouldn't even know what to do with myself. And they're talking these were routine checks, routine flights. They weren't like anything crazy. Airlines, helicopters. How do you make sense of it all? I mean, shit. They had that medical flight go down in Philly yesterday, and nobody made a sound. It's like nothing even happened. More people died on that flight than there were figure skaters on the American Airlines flight in D.C. Not a sound was made in the streets of Philly. I wonder if they're saving their energy for the Super Bowl. Crazy shit. All I can say is you got to protect yourself in this world. All right? You have to. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And as my dad would say, there's always going to be someone bigger and better. Stronger. More intelligent. But don't let that be the separating factor. Really. Don't let your ego drive a wedge into your human experience. Be open to things, open-minded, which means things that you don't agree with, you're willing to hear people out on and educate yourself and learn from. That's what it means. It's not just being open-minded when you feel like it. It's not just because you're having a good day today and the sun is shining, so you figure, oh, I guess I'll hear somebody out. It's a matter of doing it when it counts the most, which means being open to hearing things when you really don't fucking feel like it. Yep. I've got a long week ahead. I hope they figure out everything with the FAA and all that stuff. And, I hate to bring politics into human lives, but I hope that politics isn't why we've lost so many great people, especially on these airlines and these flights and stuff. We have to be safer about things. We have to be more, what's the word? Okay, I don't even know if I can say it. Conscientious? Conscientious. Ooh, not bad. Jordan Peterson would be proud. It's diabolical what's happening in the world. Jordan Peterson cries every time he talks. I can't get over it. I can't get over it. I love crying too. I'm a big crier. Crying makes me feel good. It's cathartic. It's good for the soul. That's why people eat mushrooms, so they can let it all out and carry themselves on. What could I say? More exciting than anything, SNL's 50th anniversary is right around the corner. And I'd just like to call out Jimmy Fallon, whom I happen to share a birthday with. Jimmy, why have I not received the invite to this 50th anniversary? I mean, you are one of the single-handedly greatest talk show hosts in the world, and I'd like to think I'm right there with you. We share the same birthday, September 19th. Yet I did not get my invite for the big performance. So I'll be home streaming it on Peacock at NBC. February 16th is when it'll be out, and I just want to say I'm very jealous. My FOMO will be ticking off of the charts because I wanted to be there. Really. It's going to be one of the greatest performances of all times, produced by yours truly, executive producer Lorne Michaels, who is just an absolute madman, by the way. Lorne, if you're reading this, if you're hearing this, if you're part of this, I just want you to know, one day I will write for SNL, and one day I will talk to you, and you will be my friend. We will be friends. You don't have a say in the matter. Just saying. It's exciting, though. It's nice to see that creativity is at an all-time high when the world is in disarray at times. I think it's what binds us together, is using our pain to explore the opportunities around us. It's why I have a podcast. It's why I happen to write my book, Mixed Feelings, which is right behind me. Those things were pain that projected me to do things that I would have not normally done. The podcast got me talking about things I never wanted to talk about. I was okay keeping it to myself. But I wanted to share and not just entertain everyone, but I wanted to show people that there's a way. And not everything is as polarizing as it may seem. Even though it seems that way. Pretty exciting, though. SNL, they've got quite the lineup. Let's run through it, you and me. For their SNL's 50th anniversary, which happens to be on Valentine's Day, they're going to have Arcade Fire, the B-52s, Backstreet Boys, Bad Bunny. Did you guys see that skit with Jimmy Fallon and Bad Bunny? Pretty funny shit. David Byrne, don't know. Brandy Carly, don't know. Miley Cyrus. I was just talking about Billy Ray Cyrus on my Substack last week. That poor son of a bitch doesn't have a chance in hell. We love you, Billy Ray, but you got to get it together, man. Get help. Help is out there. Help is for everybody. If you need help, seek help. There's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, I'm a madman, basically a lunatic. When people ask me how my day is going, I will be pretty forthright with them and say, I'm having the worst fucking day of my life. I want them to know that. It's okay to talk about it. The world is changing. Devo, Brittany Howard, Jelly Roll. Ooh, everybody loves Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll's a fucking man. You know why people love Jelly Roll? Because he's just authentic. He's just him. He's just himself. They're also going to have Lady Gaga, Chris Martin, Mumford and Sons, Post Maloney. They're literally going to have every major artist. I mean, this is like a Papoose song, A to Z. Let me tell you all the artists from A to Z that we're going to have at our next upcoming SNL skit. 3 hours long it's going to be. It's going to be pretty crazy. They're going to have Bonnie Raitt, Robin, The Roots, Eddie Vedder. If you really want to feel sorry for yourself, Eddie Vedder has a song called Society. You're going to be sad for the rest of your day after you listen to it, and all it is 3.5 minutes long. Strap in and be prepared to be sad, because it's very sad. It's a good song, but very sad. Airs on February 16th on NBC and Peacock. I'm excited. I love SNL. I'm here for it. I want to see what they're going to do. They're going to pop off like they always do. I mean, SNL is unhinged, and I love it for that reason, because it's very raw. It's very there, which we could all take more for. You know, we could all have more of that in our lives, more rawness, more authenticity. Everybody talks about it, but nobody's willing to do that thing. You know, you can't wait for an invitation. You can't wait for an invitation. But it's challenging. It's challenging because we don't want to walk alone. Like Green Day. I walk the lonely road. I don't know the words. I have no idea. But get pumped for your week coming up. I know I am. It's been quite a few months since I've been in the groove, because I've been so busy working and not pursuing my typical dreams of writing and performing stand-up. And I hope that if you have competing values, that you're able to strike a balance this week. Find what is going to work for you. Stop looking around. Really, stop looking around. Take time to reflect, but do not obsess. Don't dwell. My mom always says it about me. I'm a thinking man. If you've ever seen that sculpture of the thinking man, that's me. I love thinking more than anything. But I also know that if I think too long, I'll think myself right into a hole. And you should be careful of something like that, because it will keep you from doing the things that you love. It'll keep you from pursuing your passions. You're going to literally, you're going to get paralysis by analysis just by thinking and not doing. Take action on those thoughts. Reflect, but say, okay, I'm the fucking man, rubber band, Jelly Sam. I'm going to get to it like Jelly Roll would have. He did it. If he could do it, I could do it. We're going to do it. We're going to have it. We're going to make it happen. Look at some of the greats if you need to. Find inspiration where you can. But don't, get derailed from your own bullshit. That's the most real thing I could tell you, really. Get planned for your week, right? Put little seeds in motion for Sunday and Monday and get going. Harvest those seeds Thursday, Friday. Don't get drunk on Saturday. Maybe use it as a time to just be with you. Just see it through with you. Just feel how you want. Put the phone down. Fuck all that. Christopher Walken doesn't even have a phone. If he needs a time, he actually just asks somebody, hey, what's the time? Imagine that. Live by the sword this week. Follow your commitments through. And, find your convictions. Find out what's going to be that one thing that's going to keep you going, and especially when you're down and out. Maybe it's an Eddie Vedder song. Society. 3.5 minutes will get you going. Understand that there's a lot of purpose in your pain. It's the same reason I started a podcast. It's the same reason I started doing stand-up comedy. Same reason I started writing and became an author. I had passion burning through my literal skin, but nowhere to go with it. The world forced me and challenged me to go do things I would never do. Public speaking? Hell no. Here we are, on stage and always performing. And it's something I've come to love because it is a challenge. I like to be challenged. It lets me reset the bar. Spend your week resetting the bar. Catch the Super Bowl. Hopefully you're not one of those crazy people climbing telephone poles like the Eagles fans, but if you are, maybe I'll see you there. Till next time, the No Name Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, and I enjoyed today. And if you didn't, I don't fucking care.